Now, at the moment here, I don't see anything very exciting. So, let me get out my roller and see what we can do with that. Now, already on the roller we've got some blue and white. And suddenly we're creating a fiery sky. Almost like a rainbow. A lovely mixture of colours, but I'm not terribly excited by that. So let's go back and pour some more paint on. So I'm going to put some acrylic red on this, and I'm going to put some enamel gloss white on that, and a bit of Prussian blue. It's a lovely dark blue. And I'm going to play around with this and see just what happens. Again, allowing these paints to run and mix. Now already, if you look at the one on my left here, or your right, it's starting to change. The colours are reacting against each other, or the paints are, I should say, and we're getting it breaking up into little fingers, rather like a, I don't know, a growth that you might see under a microscope. I can see all sorts of things there. I can see sea, I can see clouds, and you might say, hey, I'll stop at that point. How long will that take me? 8 minutes? 10 minutes? This one here is really becoming quite an extraordinary mixture of the colours reacting and rejecting each other. Here the blue is repelling the white. Here the reds are repelling the yellows, and so on. So just this difference of acrylic and enamel is creating these wonderful effects. And again, I'm not really happy with that. So let's get out my faithful roller. And this time I can use a small roller. Little one, which means I can play around with different parts of the paints. Let's come in here, for example. There's a real rich blue, and here's... Now see, here's me trying to control the paints by using an applicator, and already I've changed the whole aspect of that. And it's probably turning into almost like a sunset over a sea. See, some of those effects in there are just absolutely gorgeous. Why spoil it? Well, we can always do it again. The point about it is I can never repeat anything that happens. Once I've done it, it can never be repeated. It will be impossible to even forge paintings done in this manner, because no artist would have the ability to change or do what's here. So each one of these pieces will be a complete original, never able to be copied. Well, since I was 7, I was given my first oil paints when I was 7 years old, and they were a box of Winsor Newtons oil paints, basically for kids. And I started painting beautiful, detailed landscapes and seascapes, because that's what you did. I never went to art school, but I did develop my own way of expressing myself in representational art. So from the age of 7 to the current day, I've progressed. Have I progressed? If you talk to William Turner, who obviously is long time dead, what would he be doing today? You know, William Turner, the great apostle of light, the great marinescapist who has these wonderful pictures in the art galleries of England. Would he have descended to this sort of thing? I mean, here is almost a Turner sky. That could be a Turner sunset for one of his paintings, like, let's say, the Fighting Temiere. You know, you just imagine that as a sky and then painting a beautiful detailed ship in the foreground. Now, as I hold this now, we're going to see it change. The paint's starting to run down. And it'll be quite exciting to hold this for an hour or two. Already we're starting to get a lovely effect in here. I quite like this. It's different to that. We've actually used all the 3 colours of the primary colours, red, yellow and blue, whereas there we just focused on white and blue. And we're starting to get a picture in here. So let's take a yellow enamel, okay, and put in an acrylic blue. Make sure it's acrylic. Okay, an acrylic blue. Okay, now they won't mix because, as I say, water doesn't mix with oil. I'm going to stir them up, and already I'm getting an effect of green where the yellow and the blue meet, but I'm going to leave that for the moment because that's changing all the time. And I'm going to pour it right across the center of this. Now, although the blue has mixed with the yellow, apparently, in fact it hasn't. They're maintaining their separate entities. And if we play around with this for a while, they will start to separate. And as you can see already, now I put in a small amount of blue into quite a lot of yellow. So yellow is the predominant color. I want to get my roller out again, because I think the roller helps me create some wonderful effects by accelerating the mixing. Now another technique, if I'm not happy with this, is to grab my scraper. And I can start to put into the space here. I don't know if the camera can pick this up, but I can now do tall cities. How about that? Some buildings. Now, what have we done here? We've actually, again, changed the concept of the actual painting, but I'm now controlling it by doing something to it. The senses that affect us all: sight, vision, sound, and taste, and of course, what's the fifth? Touch. I like to create visual things, so I'm catering to your sense of sight. Cooks tend to cater to your sense of taste and smell, and masseuses will obviously tend to your taste for touch and skin contact. Yeah, I just like making things that are pretty. You can hang them on a wall, and my type of artwork goes terribly well on just plain walls. And these days and ages where you have these apartment buildings of very bland, great areas of greys, whites, browns, and you can see them in these modern apartments, very boring colored walls. Paintings of this ilk set them off and make the whole wall come to life. And I'm going to let all these paints run around again. Once it's gone, using this technique is gone. That's why I'm staying with that for the moment. I just like it. It's got a sort of, it's almost like, well, it's like looking through a tunnel into a distant cloud or landscape, or it could be a wave breaking on a shore with I don't know. Your imagination runs riot, and everybody sees something different, and that's what's so important. And this is why often with these type of paintings, you don't know which way to hang them, because by turning them around, they make a whole different attitude.